There is one important ruling that is coming up in the Ripple versus the SEC case, and that one is, according to John Deaton, the most important one to date. It's even more important than the fair notice ruling that's coming up as well. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why John Deaton, who is spearheading the class action lawsuit against the SEC with 65,000 class members, believes this particular motion is the most important one to pay attention to. So I'm going to tell you what it is and why he actually thinks that. And of course, everybody right now is looking at the price of Bitcoin and wondering what's going on, because there's so much geopolitical craziness going on right now with the Russia, the Ukraine, with what's going on in Canada, and of course the rest of the world, not to mention the crypto market as a whole is crazy enough as it is. So I'm going to talk about what just happened in the last 24 hours and why XRP is following suit, but not as much as you think. And is it because of altcoin season? Well, not exactly. Hey everyone, my name is Randy and welcome back to the Late Night Grind. Right now on this channel we are covering the Ripple versus the SEC case, but I'm also covering cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all those topics interest you, make sure you hit the subscribe button, join the Late Night Grind community. Don't forget to hit that bell notification icon so that YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video. And if you're feeling generous today, I'd appreciate it if you do two things. Smash the thumbs up button and watch the video all the way to the end. Those are the two best things you can do to support a YouTube channel. So if you do that, I greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So what I want to talk about right now is what's going on with Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin specifically. The last 24 hours has been doing something crazy. It's been doing something that it's been used to for the last several months, and that is liquidations. As you can see in the chart behind me, it has gone through several liquidations. That's just this morning. There were several other big liquidations yesterday and last evening as well. And in fact, as I'm recording this video, it looks like they're going through another liquidation as I'm recording this. Yep, that's another cascade happening. Well, as of the CoinGlass chart, it showed that as of the last 24 hours, there was 130 million Bitcoin, $130 million worth of Bitcoin that have been liquidated in the past 24 hours. So what does that mean? It means so many people think the price of Bitcoin is going to continue to climb. Some people think that this is a little bit of a head fake, a little bit of a fake out, and others think, nope, it's going north. It's going at least to 50 and 60,000. Whether or not it's going to go above that remains to be seen, but there are so many people leveraging and using 10x, 20x, even 50x leverage to bet on Bitcoin because they know based on assumptions that Bitcoin is going to continue to go north. Those are the guys that are getting liquidated. It's crazy. Even the shorts are getting liquidated because just when the shorts think they're right, they're wrong too. And of course, like I said, you have all this geopolitical craziness going on. The Russia and Ukraine saga that has the world's attention right now. In fact, Vladimir Putin just came out earlier today and said that he is recognizing two separatist or two breakout regions of the Ukraine as independent from the Ukraine. And in fact, it's been said that Russia has been supporting these breakout regions for quite some time, giving them resources and backing their allies. And I'm not going to get into all the details of what this could possibly mean because I'm going to leave that to the news channels. But nonetheless, typically craziness like this doesn't do well for markets, which could have been leading to the Bitcoin liquidations of the last 24 hours. But the thing is, here in the United States, it's President's Day, so most of the markets are closed. The Dow Jones is closed, the S&P 500 is closed, and while gold is not exactly spiking, it's at least holding its own. So as we watch the rest of these unfold, it's really curious to see some of the people on Twitter, especially the people that have been deep into cryptocurrency and deep into blockchain and on-chain analytics, basically say what they thought was happening for the past month or two. They really have no idea because nothing makes sense anymore, which is probably a good thing that people might stop making predictions and might stop people causing to bet and gamble and leverage so much on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. We might see a lot less liquidations. But keep in mind, with what Bitcoin is doing, what it's doing, XRP has been falling as well, but not to the degree that some of the other altcoins have. Some people are saying we're on the verge of altcoin season. As soon as Bitcoin turns to this uptrend, alts are going to take off at an astronomical pace. There are many YouTubers that are actually calling for this now. So it remains to be seen whether or not it's happening, but I do know right now that whenever Bitcoin goes through some liquidations, goes through some downturn, the altcoin market gets hit even worse. I mean, they get absolutely whacked, except XRP seems to be holding up percentage-wise a little bit better than some of the others. All right, so now let's talk about the Ripple versus the SEC case. In my video yesterday, I talk about the legal memos that were published, that were essentially unsealed, that Ripple had received back in 2012, in which they received some clarity that XRP, or what was back known then as Ripple credits, was most likely not a security, But there's a small chance the SEC could disagree, but nonetheless, Ripple was being extremely proactive in trying to figure out what they were actually dealing with. So that went very favorably towards Ripple. And shortly after that, John Deaton, who is heading this 65,000 member class action lawsuit against the SEC because of this Ripple lawsuit, recently came out and tweeted that he thinks this upcoming ruling in which Judge Netburn has to actually rule on something is the most important one to date in this case. So what is it? Okay. So about a month ago, Judge Netburn ruled that the 63 emails, these emails surrounding this Bill Hinman Ethereum free pass speech that happened back in 2018, that those emails should not be protected. They cannot be hidden by the SEC. They need to be turned over to the courts and to Ripple. She said so because she deemed that Bill Hinman's speech was his opinion, because that's what Bill Hinman said under testimony and under signed affidavit. But the SEC came back and said, well, no, listen. That was a speech that was guidance. It was the opinion of not just Bill Hinman, but it was the opinion of a division. And when it's the opinion of a division, that's essentially the same thing as guidance. Are you following? Okay, probably not. But nonetheless, that's what the SEC is trying to argue. So if in fact that speech was guidance, those emails would then be protected, and the SEC can be happy and sleep at night knowing that all of their conflict of interest and emails with deceit and corruption, most likely in them, are going to be sealed and protected. So what they did was file a motion with Judge Netburn saying, no, you need to reconsider your ruling because of the things I just said. So you need to reconsider your ruling so that we can keep these emails secret. It's basically what they're saying. Attorney Jeremy Hogan, when that was filed, essentially called it craziness in the legal world. A Hail Mary is what John Deaton called it as well. But nonetheless, Judge Netburn has to rule on it. And so John Deaton thinks this is the most important ruling in the Ripple case to date. Even more important than the fair defense notice ruling. Now, if you remember, the SEC actually has another motion in with Judge Netburn in which they're trying to strike down Ripple's fair notice defense. But John Deaton says, well, that ruling, it's important, but it's not really that important compared to this one, because that ruling just says whether or not Ripple could actually use the fair notice defense, not whether or not it actually had fair notice from the SEC or anyone else. So nonetheless, in the cryptocurrency world and in this investment world, you have all kinds of craziness going on. You have the geopolitical craziness. You have just the cryptocurrency sector in general's craziness. Of course, you have the Ripple versus the SEC craziness. And on top of it, you have the US Federal Reserve talking about raising rates and all of that craziness. So if you want to follow along with all of these stories and make sure you're up to date with all of these stories, it's definitely something that I am keeping an eye on. So make sure you subscribe to the Late Night Grind, hit that subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification icon like I said earlier. And if you are new to this channel, go ahead and check out the community tab. I put up polls up there on a weekly basis, just like to know what this community thinks about all this craziness. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end, for giving it a big thumbs up. And as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.